Hello and welcome. I did promise Bad that I would be wearing my dragon onesie, and we have our wings, our tail, and when I get to my pajamas everyday video, you'll be able to see the whole thing because I'll be doing that in the hallway. But today I'm chatting about the spooky, scary skeleton Halloween readathon. This was created by Nicole's Bookish Nook, so be sure to go check out her channel for the prompts, all the information. It's a fun read, low pressure, have a good time, have my little teeth there. And for more titles, be sure to check out Bad is Rad's video, Literary Love 123, and the Grape Jelly Library, as they all have different books that they'll be reading, so you can get plenty of ideas and suggestions. And going through my list, I'm willing to bet there's only going to be one title that may come up in some of the other videos you see, but these are the reads that I picked for the month. So prompt number 1 is read a classic horror novel, needs to be more than 30 years old, and I combine this with prompt number 2, which is okay, I checked out the rules, read a fiction or nonfiction book about a serial killer. My choice was Dracula. I've read Dracula at least 3, maybe 4 times since I got this as a kid. I love the story. It'll be a great revisit. So that is definitely one of my reads coming in October. And I should have mentioned that this event is running from October the 1st until October 31st. Prompt number 3, because I combined 1 and 2, read a book that has an orange cover or has the word orange in the title. I actually have 2. One that I need to finish, and I started a little while ago. This is Carl Sagan, The Demon-Haunted World, Science as a Candle in the Dark. Because I've been reading about UFOs and different conspiracy theories through August, September, Carl Sagan obviously came up. I found this during one of my recent thrift store shops. I'm looking forward to getting this finished. I've just started it, so don't know if I'll finish that in October, but I'll definitely be picking it up. Another book that I will be starting that has orange on it, and I may not finish in October, but I do want to start reading, is The Complete Idiot's Guide, the Bible. This is a 3rd edition. For me, this comes up because I'm getting back to the Da Vinci Code and tracking all of that down at some point, and of course the Bible comes up with that. I enjoy reading about different spiritual paths, so I'm looking forward to this read as well. Prompt number 4, read a book with ghosts and or ghouls. I have 2, and I'll probably be reading more of those October, November, because on my channel I'll be focusing on ghosts, cryptids, and vampires. But for this readathon, I'm picking Anatomy of a Haunting. This is by Lee Strong, The Nightmare on Baxter Road. Now, it doesn't tell you where in the state the house is. The cover is a little misleading. I've already read this once. This will be a reread. The wolf is fascinating, especially having just read about the ranch in Utah and the giant wolves there. It was an enjoyable read. I mean, scary and creepy because this is based on a real life event. So I'm looking forward to revisiting this story and making some notes. The other book that I will be rereading, this is Journeys into the Unknown. This is by Richard Palmisano, and I'm very excited because he is going to be a guest on my live stream. He is an author, a paranormal investigator, just hours away from me in Ontario. Very excited about that. His book, Mysterious Canadian Encounters with the Paranormal. As I say, I've read it before. I've enjoyed it. He shares some of the ghost stories. He shares some of his own investigations, as well as goes through the different tools, the theories that he has in place. But also, as we were talking to set up the live stream, because this book is from 2006, Richard did share that some of his theories have since changed and evolved. So I'm looking forward to hearing about that, and definitely looking forward to rereading his book. Number 5, read a book where the main character is a witch. Now, I had a hard time with this one because I only have 4 fiction books that would apply to that prompt. One is The Discovery of Witches. And if you have seen Kat's review of that book, I'm not ready to revisit that story just yet. I read it a few years ago. Like Kat, I was not overly impressed with it. So I'm not going there right now. The other 3 books are the trilogy by Anne Rice, The Mayfair Witches. I've read The Witching Hour twice. I won't be reading it a third time. And the other 2 books in the series, Lasher and Taltos, were a more enjoyable read. I'm just not feeling having to deal with Rowan Mayfair right now. Unlike some other people who have read the series, I just really don't like her. She creeps me out. If you've ever read Frankenstein, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, yeah, she's went us too far with science. So to deal with the prompt of a book with a witch instead of a character, I decided to pick books that were written by witches. This one is In Praise of the Crone. It's by Dorothy Morrison, a celebration of feminine maturity. No, I don't read the spells or do spells, but she has a very easy to follow writing style, some great practical tips. It's just packed with a lot of good information. And no, you're never going to see this or the next book on one of those challenge lists, because to try and find them in a public library is next to impossible, at least in my area. So that's why I own a copy. The other book that I'll be revisiting, and I haven't read her in a while, is Anne Mura, and this is Green Witchcraft, again, a book written by a witch. This has to do with folk magic, fairy lore, and herbcraft. And again, I enjoy her writing style. It's not all woo-woo carp. There's a lot of great information in here about plants, about animals, like she says, about folk magic, so getting into history. I just really enjoy reading her work. And again, no, I skip over the spells. That's not what I get these types of books for. It's just packed with a lot of great information. So I'm looking forward to revisiting that. Number 6 is read a nonfiction or fiction book set during the month of October, or the book is about Halloween. I look through all my shelves. I can't find anything. I have books that mention October, but they're not specific to October, and I don't have any books specific to Halloween. I do, ironically, have some specific to Christmas, but not Halloween. For now, I'm going to skip number 6. Number 7 is read a thriller novel by an author you have never heard of before. I am very selective, especially when it comes to reading new authors, because there are certain things, in particular animals, that I don't like coming across in a book. In fact, I was just reading the inside cover of one of the books that I got during one of my thrift store hauls, and it mentioned inside there about animals, so I may not even be reading that one. I didn't read the flap when I picked up the book. I went by the author, which is Marion Bradley Zimmer. So I tend to be really careful about authors I don't know unless it's someone that has recommended the book to me and they can tell me ahead of time that there's no animals in it. So like number 6, that right now is going to be on hold. I may not get to it. The last prompt, which is number 8, is to read a book with a black cover. Now I picked 2, and again, I know the one I won't finish, but I do want to get it started, so this was a great time to pull it off the shelf and get it into my currently read area. The first book, and I've been wanting to read this since I picked it up, is Star Trek on the Brain, Alien Minds, Human Minds. This is by Robert Sekuler and Randolph Blake. This connects with 2 of my interests, one being Star Trek, 2 being psychology, and what they've done is connected psychology and theories into Star Trek. So that is a read I'm very much looking forward to. The other book, and I've had it for quite some time, I just haven't read it yet, and it's a chunker, is Vampires. This is edited with a commentary by David J. Skal, S-K-A-L. This is Encounters with the Undead. And I've mentioned on my channel I'll be focusing on vampires, ghosts, and cryptids for a couple of months. I'm looking forward to reading through this. It likely has the different... Oh, there's an original edition of Dracula. There's a lot of great information in here. There's different pictures from the old movies. But I also want to pull together the different timelines. He's got different covers of Dracula. So I know that I won't get this finished, and that's why I love that this particular reading event, it's low pressure, go at your own pace. I have a number of books that I would like to get through. As I mentioned at the beginning, chances are Dracula's the one book that other people will mention. Some of those that I have, others won't. But if you've been following my channel for a little bit, seen my book hauls or seen my book commentaries, you already know I read a wide spectrum and variety of books. I read about different paths, different time periods, different subjects. If you enjoy reading spooky, scary books, make sure to check out Nicole's Bookish Nook for the prompts and extra information about the readathon event. Be sure to check out Bad is Rad, Literary Love 123, the Grape Jelly Library, for more book titles and ideas. Hope you participate. It's going to be a fun and scary read. Until next time, remember to check under the bed and take good care.